Well, good morning everybody. It's a beautiful morning here in the middle of this park. It's very, very still, and I've come to photograph just about anything I can get my eye on. The reason I'm not photographing big landscapes today is because we've hit that time of year now, July, August, right through to September, when landscape photographs become particularly difficult. And one of the reasons for that is, if you look at the trees behind me, you can see that they've taken on now this very, very dark green appearance. And they generally do that right before the autumn period. And for landscape photographs, they make for a really difficult contrasty situation. So I'm going to avoid the big scene today, and I'm going to be looking for something a bit more intimate. Now, yesterday, finally, I was able to get my hands on a new macro lens. So that's primarily what I'm looking for today. What I'm going to do in the first instance is I'm going to have a walk along this pathway, look along the edges, looking for anything that might take my eye that makes for a pleasing composition. So I want to spend 10 minutes here and then maybe move on to another location. So silent this time of year. Just hear a distant nuthatch and the odd blue tit foraging in the woodland canopy. So, where are we at? I've been to 3 sites now, walking around looking for an image, and I was walking along this little pathway just behind me, and I started questioning why I haven't found anything yet. And I really put very, very high standards, high expectations on myself to produce great images, and whether that be landscapes or images just of plants, just generally images in nature. And I suppose in the 30 plus years that I've been shooting landscapes and nature, I've seen a lot of photographs. So I have very, very high standards in what I want to show on this channel. And what I'm really looking for today is an image that's got beautiful composition, form, texture, shape, something that really stands out. And I suppose what's happening is that this time of year, when everything's at the end of the growing season, or the butterflies particularly starting to looking a bit ragged, I'm struggling a bit. I'm not finding anything that really ticks that box. And in all honesty, I knew that before I came out. And because I want to put something out regularly on the channel, I came out anyway. And what I've actually ended up doing is stressing myself out, putting all that pressure on myself to try and find an image, and it's just not happening. When at the end of the day, what it's really all about is just getting out with your camera and enjoying yourself. Now I've got thousands of pounds worth of kit in this bag, and it hasn't even been opened yet today. And what I should really be doing is just using it, enjoying it, and relaxing, not stressing, as it seems I've ended up doing. So the question on my mind right now is, do I pack up and go home and come back when I know that the stakes are much greater in my favour, or do I stay and just photograph anything? And that's where I really struggle. After all these years of shooting nature and landscapes, I've become extremely fussy in what's suitable. And the thing is that I know that a lot of you watching this channel are just starting out, so it doesn't matter that I'm shooting only the very best quality. A lot of it is down to technique and showing you what I'm looking for, why there might be a reason why I don't like a particular thing, and I've got to keep that in mind. So in the end, I didn't go home, I didn't pack up. I felt that that was just too easy. So rather than get nothing, I've decided to get something. And to be fair, I'm quite happy with this image. What I've essentially got is, this plant here is called the meadow cranesbill, and it's a lovely, lovely flower, but I'm right at the end of the season and many of the flower heads have gone and set seed, and you get these lovely, lovely pointed seed heads, which are really quite nice in their own right, but there's quite a lot of them and they're quite messy to try and get a shot of them, so I'm focusing on the flower. Now, with my shot today, I really wanted an image that, certainly a plant image that had a lot of shape and form to it, something that was very, very beautiful in its own right, and I'm struggling to find that. So what I've gone for is a single flower head, but that's too easy, I felt, so I'm going to try and sit it out and wait for one of the hoverflies to come for the nectar in the centre of the stamens. And rather than wait for the hoverfly to sit in the centre of the flower, I'm going to try and get it when it's just in flight and it's entering the flower. So I've got a macro lens on and I'm using my nodal rail to move the camera in and out to get critical focus. I'm using that because I don't really want to move the tripod in and out, because that can disturb the plant as I'm fidgeting around. So this just gives me that bit of extra movement once I've got roughly in the right area, and that's really useful. I've put the ISO up to 3200 and I'm currently shooting on f8. I've put the ISO up so high, this camera's very, very good at that range, so the images will still be nice and sharp. But as you can see, that the flower's blowing around quite a lot, and I'm trying to get a hoverfly in flight. So it puts the ball in the right place in terms of my chances of getting something from sitting here, and I don't want to be sat here all day, so it increases my chances, my hit rate of getting a decent shot. I've put the flower just off to the left hand side, just left of centre, just to give the hoverfly a little bit of room to sit and balance the exposure off to the top right. So it's just a case of waiting now and sitting here and trying my best just to enjoy the morning and relax, and stop panicking over having to get an image. It's not always about that, it's about just enjoying being out. So yeah, sit with my remote control at the ready and wait for that moment. Bingo!